Good afternoon or evening, everyone. In today's video, we are once again updating you on all the models regarding a potential major winter storm. We are once again looking at the GFS model right now, and then we're going to be looking at the European model and the Canadian model to see all the differences with this storm. And they are actually once again not quite agreeing on the path of impacts, but mostly impacts, they are pretty accurate and pretty agreeing here. We are going to head forward here. We are seeing some rain right now in Florida. We are seeing a little bit of a snow storm there in New Mexico, and that'll be heading throughout Texas throughout today here. As you can see, we still have a little bit of snow showers over there in the northwest. So this will be around 3 a.m. of the 27th. We have some snow showers across the northwest, across the northern Midwest, and possibly some snow showers there in Arkansas. Now, as we move forward here to about forecast hour 69, we can see that rainfall over there in Texas and just off the coast of Texas. Some possibly heavy rainfall in spots, but mostly some scattered rain showers for Friday morning. That'll be heading throughout the afternoon hours as we get a low pressure system and snowfall starting to form on around 3 p.m. of Friday. And as you can see, some pretty heavy rainfall around that low pressure system, and also some heavy snowfall starting by the late afternoon hours into the evening hours. We start to see some heavy snowfall starting up there near Maryland and Delaware. And as we move forward here, that heavy snowfall continues over here in Maryland, North Carolina. Virginia's also seeing some of that snowfall, and also New Jersey is seeing that snowfall as well. And as you can see, that moves forward with some extremely heavy snowfall now around 6 a.m. of the 29th. And we're now moving into more than lunchtime hours. The heavy snowfall is now moving into portions of Rhode Island, Massachusetts, New Hampshire, and Maine. And that's going to be moving forward here into Maine around 6 p.m. of the 29th. As that low pressure system starts to move more northeast, we still see some of that snowfall from the backside of that in Maine there throughout the overnight hours from Saturday into Sunday. And as you can see, that snowfall is still hitting by 6 a.m. of Sunday, and it should be exiting the region by around 12 p.m. Sunday. So this will pretty much be starting just by 3 p.m. when people get off work on Friday. And that's typically when you start your weekend, and this will be heading throughout pretty much the entire weekend here as we head throughout Sunday. You're going to get a break about in the morning hours of Sunday, but pretty much the entire weekend here, you're going to see a major storm panning out throughout the mid-Atlantic and northeast here. We're going to look at the European model and see the differences, and then the Canadian model. Here is the European model, and as you can see, this is going to be Friday at 12 a.m. We're going to move forward here to around 6 a.m. You see that low pressure system already forming now just off the coast of Florida, and that snowfall already starting way ahead of the system here. This is in Kentucky, Ohio, we're talking, and this is probably around 800 miles away from the low pressure system. It's already starting there, and that low pressure system starts to move forward here. This is going to be around 6 p.m. of Friday, heading into the overnight hours. As you can see, that low pressure system is undergoing bombogenesis, which that pressure drop is so insane it gets that name, to where it intensifies very quickly here. And this is typically also what happens in hurricanes as they approach land, especially in the Gulf, where they undergo that bombogenesis. And that's what we call rapid intensification in those hurricanes there. And as we head forward here, the heavy snowfall is going to be really impacting here in portions of New England and portions of the mid-Atlantic, especially the coastlines are going to see an insane amount of snowfall here from the European model. And as you can see, that low pressure is 973. That would probably, that's around a Category 2 a hurricane, possibly, if it were a hurricane here. So that's a very low pressure for a winter storm, and this could be a very strong nor'easter here, one of the strongest, pretty much the strongest, if this does verify, for this winter season so far. And as you can see, it weakens substantially once you get around 6 p.m. of Saturday, but it continues here its movement to around 6 a.m. of Sunday, and then we get to around 12 p.m. Sunday, and it pretty much moves out in the entire region. So this run, the European model has it more west, so you're going to get much more snowfall than the GFS model. If it were more east, for like the GFS model, you would get much less snowfall. But still, over there in Maine, New Hampshire, Massachusetts, Connecticut, Long Island, Rhode Island could also see a lot of snowfall there, even from the GFS model. So let's go ahead and look at the Canadian model and see what's their thoughts. All right, here is the Canadian model here. Now, low pressure system forms very similar to the European model, just off the coast of Florida there. And this is going to be 6 p.m. of Friday. So very similar to both the GFS and European model. But again, a lot similar to the European model due to that more western movement. And this is going to be heading throughout here, maybe a little more east than the European model, but look at that low pressure, 952. That's going to be extremely blizzard conditions here if this does verify like the Canadian model says. And it's, again, very similar movement to the European model and GFS, but maybe just in between of the GFS and the European model here. We're going to look at the snowfall amounts according to both the GFS and European model here in a second. But as you can see, very similar movement. These are definitely agreeing a bit, but we still do not know exactly who's going to be impacted here, but we do have a very good idea now that it is Tuesday and it's getting closer and closer to the event. All right, we're going to look at the thoughts on the GFS, what it thinks it's what it thinks we could see, what it thinks on how much snowfall we could expect from this, and then we're going to look at the European model like I said. As you can see, most of the impacts according to the GFS are going to be in New England with over a foot of snowfall here, and even in Maine could see upwards of 18 inches of snowfall according to GFS model. And over here in the coastline of Massachusetts, where you get the most impacts, upwards of 26 inches of snowfall. That is a lot of snowfall here. And over here in New Jersey, upwards of maybe a foot of snowfall, and over here mostly in the coastline of North Carolina and Virginia here, most likely around 6 inches of snowfall from the GFS model. And of course, this blues, we're not going to go super in depth to these snowfall models because they are going to change a lot over the next couple of days here. Once we get to around Wednesday, tomorrow, maybe Thursday, that's when we'll have much more in depth on the snowfall amounts. But as you can see, this is a good idea of what you could see potentially here with this major snowstorm. So likely over a foot of snowfall in those pinks. And even more of those hot pinks, you're going to see upwards of 16 to 18 inches of snowfall. According to the GFS model, that's going to change over the next couple of days, so definitely keep that in mind. All right, let's go ahead and look at the European model, which I have noticed these are quite similar again with these, but the European model has it much more west, so we have a lot more impacts here for more of New York, Pennsylvania, New Jersey, Virginia, pretty much the whole state of Connecticut, Rhode Island is also seeing a lot more impacts here if the European model is correct. As you can see, well over a foot of snowfall here for those hot pinks, and actually more magenta colors here. Well over a foot of snowfall, upwards of 16 inches of snowfall. More of these tanner colors, over 30, near 30 inches of snowfall here. So if this does verify, you could see a lot of snowfall in those localized spots where those tan colors are in Delaware, portions of Maryland, and Massachusetts could see up to 30 inches of snowfall if the European model is correct. This is around just under a week out still, so this is again going to change. Definitely take this as a grain of salt, but definitely keep this in mind and make sure if you do have plans to travel, especially in this type of region, make sure you are keeping an eye on these videos and other forecasters' videos. Keep up to date and make sure to cancel travel plans if you do live in this area, or start traveling earlier so that you can get out of this snowfall. But I will keep you up to date if you do subscribe to the channel, and also make sure to turn on post notifications so you won't miss any other update on the models for tomorrow's video. I will likely have it out around lunchtime to give you the latest update on the models, and also make sure to share this with any friends and family that may want the latest updates on this potential major winter storm, possibly historic winter storm. But as always, stay safe.